having worked on this project, to introduce you my partner in crime, Dr. Kane Shin. Kane Shin is a PhD, and she's the professor of education at George Mason University and the director of Global Online Teacher Education Center, GoTech. Dr. Shin specializes in teaching English as an additional language to young learners and teenagers, and is an expert in online TESOL education, and conducts research on building international and virtual communities of practice for English teachers. She is an award-winning author and series editor for National Geographic Learning. Her titles include Teaching Young Learners English, Breaking Through the Screen, Our World, and Impact. In 2016, Dr. Shin was named one of the 30 up-and-coming leaders of TESOL by TESOL International Association. In 2021, she was named one of the top 30 English language specialists by the U.S. Department of State in recognition of her lasting impact on the specialist program and on the field of TESOL. She's currently serving on the Board of Trustees for the International Research Foundation for English Language Education, TERF. And she's also a partner here in our ESN program. So with no further ado, I would like to welcome our final keynote speaker, Dr. Kane Shin.
Thank you so much, Heidi. So it is such a pleasure for me to be here with you this morning and to be here in Uzbekistan at all, because it's been such a long time that I have been waiting to be able to travel all the way here to Uzbekistan and to be able to meet so many of the teachers from the ESN program and all of the other teachers who've come from different countries in this region to join us in this community of practice in order to learn from each other. And I have to say that I went to a number of presentations here at the conference, and I have definitely learned a lot from all of you who I saw new ideas from and who I could participate in your activities and ideas. So first, I want to say thank you to all of you who came here to share your expertise with me and the rest of us. So please give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you so much. So, first, and also I wanted to say, this morning I was very nervous to come up here to talk to you about this topic, media literacy, because you can't talk about media literacy without bringing in different types of media. And so I have some videos, some audio clips, and I was very nervous thinking, what if the technology doesn't work? Then my whole presentation is not going to make any sense. And so luckily in this wonderful space, I am going to be able to share with you many different ideas about using media in your classrooms. And the title of this presentation is Where Media Literacy Education Meets English Language Teaching. Okay? They're meeting each other, kind of like critical friends, right? And how many of you made a critical friend or some critical friends during this conference today? Or through these 3 days? Excellent. Did you sing the song when you made your critical friend? Okay, so you are going to need a critical friend in this presentation, because there are moments where you need to turn to your critical friend to share a couple ideas. So why don't we first start by finding your critical friend and let's sing the song. How do you feel about that? All right, so turn to the person next to you and I'll start. How does it start? Come and be my critical friend. Critical friend, critical friend, come and be my critical friend, my dear colleague. Excellent! You guys are wonderful. All right, so now that you have a critical friend. Now you can answer the first question, right? All right, so first, when you hear the word media, what do you think of? Turn to your critical friend and share a couple ideas. What do you think of?
TV?
Anything that a lot of people can watch or get information.
Yeah, news. Maybe music? Huh? Yeah, it could all be part of media.
Okay, what do you
Videos.
think of when you hear the word media? If somebody wants to share an idea, there might be a little special gift in it for you. So raise your hand if you would like to share what you think of when you hear media. She is so enthusiastic. I must choose you. Yes.
So media is actually all, I think that the first is TV, internet sources such as Facebook, YouTube, and all the social sites, websites, and sometimes radio also the media.
Excellent. Thank you. You don't get a prize for each answer. That was excellent. Okay, Umi, would you like to give her that? Okay, thank you so much. So,
Everything.
actually, those were excellent answers, right? So first of all, I'd like to start with TV, which is an example of traditional media. Okay, so here are some examples of what we would think of as traditional media, right? The print media, newspapers, magazines, books, novels, photographs, drawings, journals, publications, comics, and broadcast media, film, movies, television, radio. And then there's outdoor media, billboards, right? Those big things out there, banners, posters, and transit media. What's transit media? Like on the bus or other transportation, sometimes there's little signs or things that are trying to sell you something maybe, or give you good information. Okay, so, but nowadays, we still have these, by the way, but many of these have taken digital formats, right? Like books, you can also read ebooks, right? News, we used to just read in the newspaper, have to wait for the newspaper or wait for the news TV program, but now you can look it up on the internet. And so now we have these new forms of media, digital media. And this is all familiar to you, but it's good to kind of think and reflect on, when I say media, what do I mean? And of course here you see social media, online video platforms. Now we're streaming TV shows and movies. We're streaming our music instead of having to go to a store, buy a record, put it on a record player, right? If some of you remember playing on a record player or a cassette tape. But anyway, now you can just stream it and listen to it from your phone. So, let's start here in thinking about then what these media mean for our teaching. So, this talk is going to try to introduce you to this concept of media literacy and the importance of it for our students. Now, I should define media literacy. Okay, so media literacy is the ability to what? Understand, critique, and create media messages. Okay, so it's really literacy, right? Where we need to read and write media messages. And Serafini refers to these media as multimodal ensembles. And I love this word because it's an ensemble of different modes of communication, right? Multimodal just means multiple modes. Okay, so when I think about multimodal ensembles, this is what we use to communicate. because we live in a multimodal world. What does that mean for literacy? Well, it means that literacy includes constructing meaning with images, sounds, videos, color, or some combination of all of those. And so if we are just teaching vocabulary words or grammar as in text, then we aren't teaching language for this world that we live in. Right? We live in a world where we are reading things in memes. What are memes? Well, the most common kind of memes that we call have a combination of visual, an image, and text. So there are all these "Hey girl" memes from this actor Ryan Gosling, and there were a lot for teaching during the pandemic, right? Hey girl, online teaching is hard, but you got this. Oh no, I'm not perfect. Okay, so the memes are usually very humorous, and they have a cute image, a cat, or Ryan Gosling, very cute, and they give you a little bit of text. Why not use things like this with your students, right? Video shorts, like with TikTok. How many of your students like to use TikTok? Or you, how many of you like to use TikTok? Anyway, video shorts can be multimodal ensembles, okay? Here is my favorite couple, Griffin and Haru. They're French bulldogs. I'm obsessed with them. And they put on these video shorts on YouTube. You wanna see one? Okay, so what does the text say on this video short? Sleeping dogs wake up when they hear chicken. Okay, let's watch it. Ready?
Broccoli, apples, pears, bananas, carrots, chicken.
Sorry, we gotta watch that one more time. This is like me watching it again and again.
Broccoli, apples, pears, bananas, carrots, chicken.
Anyway, you can use this to teach food. So cute. Anyway, you'll see that I really like dogs because I got a couple other examples in a little bit. Okay, so these are multimodal ensembles. Of course, web pages are multimodal ensembles that include text and photos and video, right? Television programs like this that you can see there use animation, audio, and text. These are multimodal ensembles. Okay, we often use infographics now. And here's a video that shows how you can give lots of information and data very quickly. Here we go. Right? If the world were 100 people. So that was so much information. Do you remember any of it? Tell me some of the things you remember. 50 men, 50 women. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. So do you think that use of infographics and video, even with the music, did it engage you? Did it help you to remember the information? Okay, so these are the things that we use in real life to communicate information or to communicate with each other or to entertain each other. But why is it so important for today's English educators to help their students develop media literacy? Now I'm going to give you a chance to talk to your critical friend. I'm going to ask for a couple of volunteers. Okay, so turn to your critical friend and share an idea each about this question. Ready? Go.
Why do you think it's so important? Media literacy for kids, students.
I think nowadays younger learners are obsessed with gadgets.
Yeah.
And it is and if we can't stop them doing this, we may teach them by using gadgets, media.
Okay.
Technology.
Does anyone have
Technology,
an idea that
yeah.
they would like to share? Okay. One.
Yeah, it's part of their natural world
two.
anyway.
Okay,
So
so
you have to
one
just
right
teach them
here,
how to use it.
and
I
then two.
agree. I'm with you.
There's
Are
one.
they
She was nodding her head. Mhm. 1, 2.
Okay, I think that since language and culture is intertwined and students can learn a lot about other countries' cultures through media, I mean, it is important to teach students literacy because it's important that they can differentiate between fake news and what is real and what is fake so that they can build up this true understanding of another country's culture through the language.
Sure. Excellent answer. Please take the banner. Thank you.
One?
And 2 right here.
Politically.
That big.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's there we go. Those were the first 2 hands I saw. I'll move in this direction. Okay, for the next one. Sorry. Go ahead.
There are too many reasons to develop students' media literacy. In my opinion, the most important one, because in the COVID lockdown, and the second one is to organize colorful lessons or some kind of sessions to avoid boring monotonous textbooks and others. We should help the students to develop their media literacy.
Okay, excellent. So there are different aspects, right? Please give her, yes, give her a round of applause. Okay, so important. One is to engage your students in interesting media. She said something colorful or something that's interesting, but also to build skills, to maybe learn about different cultures. And I want to emphasize one thing, that you as English language educators, right? English is a global language, you know. It is also the dominant language on the internet and the language of science and technology. By the way, I often check in with W3 Text to see their analysis of web content, and it's fascinating because they also do an analysis of like which are the most popular widgets or social media platforms, and then you can see, is Twitter being used more, Facebook, Instagram, etc. But they also analyze the language. And what's interesting to me is that when I first started to check into W3 Text maybe 20 years ago, English was something like 70-something%. But then the number of languages that were being represented on the internet increased, and it kept going down. And even last year was 50%. But now it's popping back up to 62%. So it's still, even though there's vastly more representation of other languages and cultures on the internet, English still dominates. And so we know that our students are learning English to use it in various ways, to get information, to communicate with people around the world. And if English is still the dominant language of the internet, then we should be using materials like new media that are found online to help them use those media effectively. The other thing that I want to point out is that, as Jinji said, I love this quote, multimodality is the rage today, and the new thing. But it seems new only because we linguists have done such a poor job analyzing language. We treat language as words and grammar, but language has never been unimodal. Never. What do you see in this image? This is the Lascaux Caves in France. Okay? Yeah, so these visuals in the Lascaux Cave in France, they dated back like 17,000 years ago. Even before we were using words with each other to communicate, we were communicating in image. It is ingrained in us as humans, right, to communicate using such images. Our world is image and media driven now. So our teaching should be image and media driven. Notice the image I've chosen here, because we're still using walls to communicate information to each other. We as humans haven't changed so much. However, maybe this obsession with language and words, and you all love words and grammar and language, that's why you're English teachers, but it isn't how we communicate, right? We communicate in multimodal ensembles, so our teaching needs to reflect that. So I just want to share with you a few ideas for integrating media literacy education in English language teaching. Okay, so I'm going to give some examples for analyzing media as well as creating media, meaning your teacher students how to analyze media and create media. But also, we need to learn how to better analyze media, and we need to learn how to create media, because we need to make these materials and prepare them for our students. So, I do have a question, okay? How often do you use visuals or media to make text comprehensible? Raise one hand if sometimes. Raise two hands if it's often. Okay. Wave your hands if you're using it all the time, every class. Yes, we do. We use visuals a lot to make text comprehensible, right? So if I want to teach students what an elephant is, then I should show them a picture of an elephant. And if I want to teach the word hippo, I'll show them a picture of a hippo. Same thing with the kangaroo, okay? You can also use media, right, to teach the same thing. So this could be engaged when you're teaching the word elephant, elephants, counting the elephants. Videos can be good too. Great. But this isn't exactly what I'm talking about. I want to know, how often do you focus on interpreting the visuals or media? Not using it to make a word comprehensible, but how are you helping your students become literate in interpreting and reading the images? Okay, so take a look at this image. This does come from my book series, Our World, with National Geographic Learning. That's why the wonderful thing is you get these National Geographic photos, which are pretty cool, and give you a lot to analyze. So take a look. And what words come to mind when you see this image?
Play.
Kindness, connection. Yes. Love. Right. So looking in here, can I ask you, okay, first, what do you see? Just tell me, what do you see? A monkey or gorilla, a human nature, okay? And what do you think about this photo?
I think he had a problem. I think his mom died.
And was he here?
Because why is he being
Yeah.
carried by a human if her mom was alive?
No hunting.
Yeah. I think mama.
Yes, this is in a
Also, I see orphan.
park, a reserve. How does this image make you feel? Relaxed.
Yetim.
No,
Yetim.
Little happy, little sad. Why do you say a little sad?
This is the same questions Justin asked.
Yeah. So you see, if you start to look at more details,
Yeah, no.
right? He's
That's what I said
holding
before.
the gorilla, but not the
I said,
gorilla's
yeah.
hand because something happened to it. Yeah. What do you think happened before this moment in time? What do you think happened before this? An accident? Yeah, maybe some disaster. Yes. And this man is rescuing
the same routine.
Okay, so you see what I mean. First, we could teach the word monkey or the word gorilla from this, but we can also add some feeling, some analysis to it in order to focus on the relationship and what's happening in the image to interpret it. So to make my point, right, we can use photos to teach vocabulary, and don't stop doing that. That's great. It's a great way. So if I want to teach the word monkey, I show a picture of a monkey. If I want to teach the word bird, I show a picture of a bird. But what about also using photos to build this visual or media literacy? So I can teach monkey and bird from this image. Do you see? So now here, what do you see?
And the monkey likes the bird.
Friendship, relationship, yeah.
And
And
the bird
why do
is
you
the
think that? Why do you
He
think
does.
they have a friendship?
They're too young to be lovers.
Yeah, so maybe the mother died and the bird died. You know what? Do you know the story? Because that is the story, actually. So this little baby monkey they found on the island in China. And the little baby monkey was almost dead. And there was no mother to be found. And they found the monkey and they nursed the monkey to health. But the monkey was just listless, sad, didn't move, but it was healthy, nothing wrong with the body. But then the bird came and the monkey came to life, right? This bird became his new mom and they grew and lived together on this island. So, how does this kind of image make you feel? And can you teach the vocabulary words? But can you also teach the beginning steps of media literacy to start to interpret the image? So what I want to suggest to you is using images like this, and you can find them on the internet, right? But find something on the internet that doesn't just show one thing, that shows something that can make students feel, something that can make students learn something else other than the vocabulary. And you can teach them these visual thinking strategies, right? Asking what's going on in this image, what do you see that makes you say that, and what more can you find? These are the types of questions that can help students learn how to interpret the visuals. Okay, now with your critical friend, I'm going to give you a chance to talk about what other kinds of questions you can ask to try to build these kind of visual literacy skills, okay? All right, and then I'm going to call on some people on this side of the room. All right, so go ahead and come up with some questions.
More extra questions, huh? About this picture. I have one. We can go in order. Each one shares one. Who brought the monkey there? Yeah? Do you have a question?
All right, who has some good questions to share?
Okay, here's nothing here.
Raise your hand.
How old is the
Uh-huh,
monkey?
right here.
How old is the monkey? That's a good. All right.
And then right, yes, and then right behind her,
Yeah,
one,
yeah.
two. Yes, so in the blue. In the blue.
Hi.
Hi.
what do you feel looking at this picture, and what is your association, what is your inner association with this picture?
Yes, so you're trying to connect it to students, right?
How can you synchronize this picture with your feelings and with your life experience? Students.
What does this picture remind you of?
Through
Everything that's what you mean.
visualization, they learn more.
Yes, excellent. So connecting it to students and their lives. Yes. And then right behind her, she also answered, raised her hand.
Good morning for all. Before my colleague's question, I would like to ask my pupils, how long have they been friends, firstly, and then secondly, how does the monkey's substitutional mother treat him being in the wildlife? What do you think? So I would like to ask these two questions.
Yes, so you're really going deep into the story. Excellent.
Yes.
I love it. Thank you so much. So these are excellent ways to try to deepen your students' understanding of the images. So I'll just give you a few ideas, right? How many of you recognize the visible thinking routine? I see, I think, I wonder. This comes from Harvard Project Zero. And one thing I want to say about using this technique is that you can ask, okay, students, what do you see? Students, what do you think? Students, what do you wonder? But what you're really trying to do is to get your students to start asking these questions to themselves as routine. So that they're thinking,
Visible what?
what do I
Thinking.
see? What do I think?
As you mentioned, yeah.
What do I wonder? So that inside their brains, they immediately, when they meet a piece of media, they'll say, I see, blah, blah, blah. I think, blah, blah, blah. I wonder. And then you've started their journey on becoming more visually literate. Okay? So, of course, you can use the 5 W's to inquire, but try to make sure they're open-ended questions and not questions that can be just answered in a word, but something like the questions that we heard from these 2 ladies who spoke earlier, right? Make sure they're open-ended. Of course, you can do a personalized inquiry, right? How does the image make me feel? What does this image mean to me? Is this image like my life? Exactly. Or creative inquiry, right? Talking about what is happening. Okay, what is happening now? But what happened before this picture? What happened after this picture? And get your students to start to be creative about how they think about the image. Now, of course, our learners are not just consumers of information and of media, they're also producers of information and media. So we need to come up with an example for creation. Now, I think I need to hear the answer to this question because I think I know the answer to this question. How many of you like to take photos on your phone? Okay, all right. Now, I also do. And so I decided, okay, I'm just going to look at the photos on my photo roll, and I'm going to make up a story. And I think you can too. All right, do you want to hear my story? Do you also want to see my story? All right, so this is just from photos on my phone. And it is a true story, and it is about Sherlock. Okay, so let me read it to you. The story of Sherlock. Once upon a time, there was a puppy named Sherlock. His mommy loved him very much. They worked together, they played together. Then one day, his mommy got married. Now, he was part of a family. The children loved him, and he loved the children. That's Ilsa and Finn, my kids. But one day, the family adopted another puppy. Her name was Penelope. Sherlock was not very excited about this new puppy. Penelope loved Sherlock, but Sherlock did not like the new puppy. She kept following him around. She took up all his space. Oh my goodness. Okay, now I'm going to continue the story. But by the way, I just used image and text on PowerPoint and as well as Google Slides for this. Okay, now I'm going to add audio, so I'm not going to talk.
Then, one day, Penelope wanted to play. Sherlock got angry. They fought and fought until Sherlock realized this was fun. And now they are best friends.
And that is the story of Sherlock and Penelope. Did you like my story? Okay, so I just used PowerPoint or Google Slides. Okay, I used both. And you just put a picture and text. Then I added audio. Then I added video. Do you think you could do that? Do you think your students could do that? I think so. And they're better than you, exactly. And by the way, you can also use something like Book Creator to do the story. And I'm not going to tell the story again, okay? But I gave this example, and you can use the QR code to access the story of Sherlock. As you can see, I love dogs. Okay, his full name is Sherlock Holmes, by the way. He's part beagle, so when I met him for the first time, he was sniffing all around, and I was like, wow, he's on the case. And I named him Sherlock Holmes. Okay, the place where I got him, they called him Walter. So anyway, I renamed him for myself. Okay, now you can also use an app like Chatterpix and incorporate it into the story. So I just took one part, Chatterpix. It is an app where you can draw a line and then
I am not excited about this new hobby.
So you can put in any photo, and in Chatterpix you just draw a line with your finger and you record. And so here, now I'm saying, I am not excited about this new puppy. All right. So, by the way, I can show you how to use it later if we have time, but I've got to keep moving. Now, let's say you start to develop these skills for media literacy, and your students, maybe they're a little bit higher proficiency, maybe you have older learners. Well, you can create a media Q&A routine and use these 9 key questions. By the way, this is based on NAMLE, the National Association for Media Literacy Education. They have actually many more questions in order to analyze media. But for your students, I think these 9 key questions are helpful to analyze media, okay? So the idea is first you ask, who made this, whatever it is, advertisement? Why was this advertisement made? What creative techniques were used in this advertisement? What are the obvious messages in this advertisement? What do I think or feel about this advertisement? What might other people think or feel about this advertisement? What kinds of people are in this advertisement? What kinds of people are missing from this advertisement? And what are the indirect messages in this advertisement? Okay, are those questions interesting to you? Because when I first read the NAMLE framework, I was very interested because it not only asks what is in the image, it's also what's missing, what isn't in the image because that should make you think a little bit more deeply about the image. Let's practice. Does anyone here like to use Korean cosmetics? They're very popular around the world. Especially this whitening cream. Whitening.
I think you use that, right?
So popular. Okay. So, you can take any ad to build visual literacy. Now, you're not, anyone here like Korean dramas? Or K-pop? Or, yeah, okay. So maybe you're interested in Korean. But anyway, the point is any ad, and you can pick ads on the internet, in English, for your class. But I want you to ask yourself these 9 key questions about this ad with your critical friends now. You'll get another chance to give some answers. Okay? So I'm going to give you 2 minutes to really go through these questions. Ready? Okay, go.
I think someone who's selling the whitening product. All right, I'll ask the next question. Why was this ad made?
Promote the production.
Huh?
Promote the production.
Promote production, okay. Next question, you.
What creative techniques were used in this ad? I think beautiful girl, white girl.
Okay.
And I don't know.
Maybe it's like kind of a program like a Canva, something like this, which made like advertisements.
Okay.
But it's asking about techniques.
Techniques, all right. Yeah, I think they made the picture look very white.
Yeah.
It's probably not a natural picture. They did something, to change the picture.
Special effects they use.
Definitely. What are the obvious messages in this ad?
The messages and English, there is ginseng, whitening, something like green.
Okay.
And don't. I think it is saying don't trust who look white. I mean
what?
I mean all people looking white may not be white.
Ah. This is true. They're hiding something. Okay.
Yeah.
Whose turn? Next question. Who is it?
What do I think?
What do I think or feel about this ad? What I feel? Because if my wife sees it, she will buy it.
I think that this is assuming that white skin is better.
Yeah.
Right? Which is
like looking white is better than looking dark.
Exactly. I think this is what it's telling people.
Especially for women.
Yes. Next one, 7. What kinds of people are in this ad?
Okay, right here, this
A
gentleman
woman.
right
A woman,
there.
okay.
Women.
Yes.
What
Asian
kinds of people
people
are missing from this ad?
Yes.
Except that woman. All
Good
kinds
morning,
of
everyone,
people.
Yeah.
guests and dear colleagues. I'm Bakhtiyor from Tashkent, EFL teacher. Well, by looking at this image, we can say, for example, who made this ad? It can be made by IT specialists or even by a student who are expert in designing, image designing. For example, if someone, sales assistant has business and maybe he could order to students or IT specialists to make attractive image to advertise product. So there are many types of people who can make this ad, not only IT specialists.
Okay.
It can be anyone who is good at design.
Sure. Yeah. Who do you think spent the money to pay that IT specialist to make this ad?
Yeah.
Who made it?
The author or the person who runs own business in cosmetics, or the person who has a big budget in this sphere, because to sell product you have to give away spend a lot of money at the first stage of your business to advertise, to attract consumers.
Sure.
And
Thank
it's
you.
worth it.
Thank you, Umi. You want to give him one? Yes. Thank you. Okay. I'm sorry to make you walk, Umi, but can you go to the side over there? Exercise.
Well, good thing I'm skinny.
All right, right up there in the back, the way back. Yes. So I'm very interested to hear a little bit more because now we've established who made this app, right? Why? And what are the messages in this app? Go ahead.
Hi everybody. So I think the message the ad maker wants is to show how the cosmetic makes people skin healthy. And it shows that maybe some cultural background information that Korean people have very healthy skin.
Yes, because we all, the whole country, yes, we all have it. Thank you. Okay, keep going.
And it says that as people can have this skin type, a healthy skin, by buying this product.
Okay.
And it attracts more consumers. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So maybe the obvious message is this makes your skin healthy and look very nice.
White.
Okay. Question, are there any indirect messages in this ad?
So I think the indirect message was about the Korean people. You see, the model is from this nationality.
Yeah.
So it means that maybe they just want to advertise Korean products throughout the world.
Okay.
Even we use Korean products every day.
Sure, okay. Well, thank you so much. Umi, please give her a banner. Nice. Okay, so in the interest of time, I do want to talk a little bit about this because, by the way, Raymond, don't forget, this is red ginseng whitening cream. Whitening. What does whitening cream do? It makes you more white. Okay. And so would you say that her skin is white? So what I want to emphasize here with this is that in an advertisement like this, yes, she's exactly right. It's showing a beautiful Korean model with wonderful skin. You should buy this product so that your skin can look as beautiful and white as hers. Now, if I go to Korea, right, do you think my skin looks like her skin? I mean, maybe you do. When I go to Korea, people do not think so, right? Because my skin looks much darker, right? And I also like to swim and play tennis, play volleyball, and play a lot of sports outside, so I always have a little bit of a tan in it. But that is considered not attractive at all in Korea. If I go to Korea, my skin is considered not attractive. And I should be using this whitening cream, as well as sunscreen and putting a big hat on my head, etc. But the indirect message should also create some concern for us as adults, for our children, and for you as educators to your students. Because your students, as we all, are constructing our image of ourselves based on the images and media we see and consume. So if I'm seeing these photos, when I lived in Korea, I saw these photos on the subway, on the bus, on the storefront, in the magazines. So what would I be thinking? Being white or whiter is beautiful. My skin isn't white. I guess I'm not beautiful. I should buy this to make myself more beautiful. Do you see? So if your students see images like this, they will start to think things about themselves. And so if you are not analyzing media by saying, who made this? Why was it made? What techniques are being used? What is the message? Who do you not see? Do you think there are any models in this ad that look like me? No, they do not, right? They all look like her, right? Because they're trying to sell this image. But this is how our young people start to construct their identities based on the media they consume. And so you need to get your students to critically analyze these. Now, an example of how you can do that, other than bringing advertisements with different images and analyze them. the next step is to also have them create media, like have them make their own ads. Like the gentleman said, students can create their own, and they can probably make it look very professional, right? So you choose a product, the students choose a product, right? Give students choice, right? We all know when students can choose, right, they will be more engaged. Then they create 2 advertisements, right? Not 1, 2. And both advertisements should be for the same product, but one should be for kids and one should be for adults. Why? Because any writing, any multimodal ensemble we create has an audience, right? You are trying to get your students to see what they create as authentic communication, which means it has an audience. So you make an ad. So take a look. Do those 2 ads look the same? No, because the top one is for kids, for us. Got to go, great for texting, cool colors, for grandma and grandpa. Oh, easy to start screen. Unique apps. Okay, so the message changes, the words in English change, the images change to reach your audience. Okay, now, key questions for creating media. Have your students think about, why am I creating this ad? What techniques am I using in this ad? What are the obvious messages I'm making? What do I want people to think or feel about this product? It's useful, right? It's great for texting. What kinds of people will I include in my ad? And then what are the indirect messages? That's hard for students. You may have to guide them. Okay, then, by the way, after your students create them, you can give the other one this and have them analyze each other's. And maybe they can pick up on some of the indirect messages. All right, so now, older students, maybe you want to analyze other kinds of media. Okay, so I'm going to show you a commercial and see what you think about it with these key questions. Are you ready? Okay, I'm going to introduce it. Here you go.
It came to their house. It's a smart fridge.
Okay, I'm coming.
It's a refrigerator. Must be very expensive. Oh! This fridge is like a computer. Huh? Oh my gosh.
She's going to choose some people and give you a little gift from George Mason. But so go ahead, Umi, you're in charge. But tell me some of the answers to these questions. Okay? Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. For me, this commercial, I think some food company, because it's about food, and they try to connect with family because it's popular among family members, all parents, children, grandparents.
Thank you. Good answer, Pen. Next. Trying to get work. Yes. What else did you see in this, with these key questions?
Was made in order to attract more consumers to the new to buy new products.
And in order to achieve their goals, they try to do their best.
Okay. And so trying to help people
We're gonna have
achieve
you-
their goals.
we need to get the
Yes, I like
microphone
that.
for you.
So what are some of the other obvious messages? Umi's on the go. Umi's on the go.
Hi everyone. I want to answer to the sevens. What kind of people are in this commercial? They are actually family, and this kind of fridge or electronics makes people happy and closer with each other.
Okay, makes them happy and close to each other with that technology. Thank you.
So I wanna answer the for what do I feel about this commercial. Just watching these ads, I wanna purchase this fridge immediately because of the how to say about the opportunities. Just I can say that every people want to purchase it and without any doubt because there is so many functions.
Yes, yes. And it just looks so cool, right?
Yeah.
Like a refrigerator. It's so cool. Okay.
It's too advanced, that fridge.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
I think that what are the indirect message in this commercial is that Samsung is also not staying in one place, so it's like modernizing its products and it's promoting itself as well by providing many kinds of facilities or maybe like in one gadget where they can give different options.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And isn't technology amazing? Yes, one more, and then I'm going to show you another ad. Just one more.
Hello everyone. I would like to answer to the question number 9. What are the indirect messages? I think that we could see the beautiful image in this video, which could reach out to our basic instincts as being happy, having security, so happy family, and this is kind of the only tool or the tool who can make this life closer to us if we purchase this fridge. And this is multifunctional fridge which can help to deal with all these questions. And they are kind of selling this kind of image of the lifestyle.
Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I love that image of the lifestyle. Well, let me show you in contrast, because perhaps you can also, after analyzing an ad such as this, you can also do a cross-cultural media analysis. Okay, so let me show you another commercial for a Samsung refrigerator.
He's a famous actor in New York.
Ters sorguyu sınıfları yaptı.
Oh, he's but he looks like... He's back.
Samsung mükeddes namı. Samsung mükeddes.
They don't show this kind of ads. Is this Uzbek, no?
I think, yeah.
You haven't seen that ad yet?
I had a little tip, right, from somebody I know from this country about this particular commercial, and I loved it. But if we were to do a cross-cultural analysis of how Samsung is selling refrigerators in different countries, what are the messages? What are the differences?
Hi, I want to ask the last question, indirect message of this ad. I think the indirect message of this ad is to eat more.
Eat more. Excellent. Okay, keep going, Umi.
In the first picture, we can see a lot of advances of Samsung. For example, the fridge is working with the Wi-Fi internet connection. If there is not any connection, we cannot work with this fridge. It's absolutely for the American or some kind of European countries.
US.
Yes, because they have smart houses. But in Uzbekistan, we are now in the era of beginning such kind of smart houses. And but in our nationality, we have a lot of people living together, and we need more space in our fridge to be in cool.
Yes, it's got to be big.
Big.
Yes.
A lot of people come.
Another response.
Yeah, the message is, and I will agree with Madina, that we have very big families in Uzbekistan, so we need Samsung.
Okay, yes. By the way, I am not a representative of Samsung. I'm not trying to sell anything, but as we analyze this, right, it is very attractive, right? Both focus on
Good morning.
family,
I would like
right?
to answer the second question. Okay, why was this commercial made? If it was made by the teachers, I think it was made to provide different input to the students. For example, we saw some actions, we listened to the song, we saw some text in the video. So it may be useful for those who have different learning styles.
Thank you so much.
Also background song is combining with Uzbek song and
Excellent. Okay, one more. I think we have time for only one more.
I'd like to answer question 9 about indirect message of this commercial.
Yes.
You know, our nation is famous for its hospitality, and we, in our houses, we have a lot of guests. And in order to have guests, we need big Samsung, big Samsung.
Yes.
So that's why it encourages our people to buy big Samsung fridge, because in our culture we have a lot of guests in our family.
Yes. Actually, I experienced that last night because Dr. Hakimova was so gracious and invited me to her home, and we had a wonderful dinner with her mother and her sister-in-laws, and there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 children, 6 children, 7 children, how many children? Grandchildren. And it was just like this, right? We also were dancing around, exactly like that, yeah.
Did you notice the big Samsung?
Did they have a big Samsung? Yes, they have a big Samsung. Okay, thank you. So I need to move on because of time. Okay, but you get the idea. In this way, you can really do a cross-cultural media analysis, but you can teach so many other things, like the gentleman there said about what the value is for using such media in your class for the learning process, for language learning, and also for improving English, right? Okay, so I want you to think about it. Okay, I'm at the end of my presentation, but think about it. What kinds of media can your students create in your English class? By the way, I took this video and I took the photo myself while I was here. And I was amazed at the beautiful culture and the food. I ate so much there. But also having your students think about what is around them. What images, what media can they create to use to explain in English something about themselves, something about their culture, something about how they eat, something about how their family is, something about their religion, something about fashion. I mean, there's so many things. So utilize media as resources for your English language classroom to engage your young learners and your teenagers and your adult learners in order to have real authentic communication, real multimodal ensembles, right? Real communication in English, right? Okay, so by the way, some of these ideas are from this MOOC, right, which is sponsored by the US Department of State and their open English programs. But I realized when I was coming here that there is still time for you to enroll in this MOOC. You see, enrollment closes June 28th. We created this at George Mason University with FHI 360, sponsored by the US Department of State. You can learn more about ideas like these and how to incorporate such ideas for media literacy in your classroom. This is for educators. All right. And if you also want to continue to learn more, and let's say you didn't get that QR code for the MOOC, but you want to know how to join this group, you can find it. It's just called TEYL. So I created this group for teachers around the world. There's over 6,000 teachers there. Okay. But I want to point out one thing. This is at the top of the group, because I think this perfectly encapsulates what we are doing as educators, right? Because our sense of purpose is right in the middle there, right? The red. That's our sense of purpose. Because as educators, yes, we're paid for it, right? We're teachers, it's our job. We get money for it, sure. It's our profession, right? We're here to get professional development because we believe we are professionals who have something to offer. And we're learning, developing ourselves. We're great at it. Okay, what spurs us on? Our passion, because we love to teach and we love our students. We feel a sense of mission because the world needs what we're doing, which is teaching our students not only to communicate in English, but to communicate with the world, connecting through all different types of media, in order to learn about it, get information about it, communicate with others. And as English language educators, we, as well as our students, can use these tools of media, as well as English as a tool, to be able to reach our goals and further our understandings of the world. So, I hope that you enjoyed this presentation, and I thank you so much for your participation. Please go forward and have a wonderful day at the conference. By the way, Umi has more pens for people. So if you did not get one because you didn't get a chance to give an answer, you can come up and receive one from her. Okay, enjoy the rest of your day.